Hello everyone, and welcome to the second episode of What May Happen in the Future, a series where we speculate about the possible future scenarios that our species may face. In today's episode, we are going to be discussing the potential future colonization of Mars, and all of the different factors that need to be discussed when proposing the idea of starting a colony on another planet. This subject is one of many sub-episodes of this series where I will discuss different aspects of space exploration. So without further ado, let us begin. With the massive strides made in technology over the past 20 years, we are now living in a world where it is not inconceivable to think that we may see humanity begin the foundations of a colony on Mars in our lifetime. Since the space race, humanity's endeavours into space exploration have slowed down significantly. This is when it comes to travelling out of low Earth orbit and visiting celestial objects. Of course, the last time we did this was in 1972, when humans last visited the moon. But now with SpaceX and NASA working together, NASA closed their space shuttle program in 2011 and were travelling with Russian cosmonauts until 2020, when the first third-party spacecraft was sent to the International Space Station. This was a huge step for the resurgence of humanity's space exploration, as now NASA will have the ability to use reusable rockets for low Earth orbit travel, which will cut their costs immeasurably. And then they can focus more of their funding on potential missions back to the moon, and of course visiting Mars and beginning a colony. Elon Musk, the founder and CEO of SpaceX, has a vision of being on Mars within the next decade. This could be wishful thinking, as there is definitely a lot of planning and calculating that needs to happen before we are sending people anywhere. But with the collaboration of SpaceX and NASA, I believe it could be more likely to be 20 years rather than 10 years. This is because I do believe we will be returning to the moon before heading to Mars, as the return trip to the moon is less difficult and has already been done before. So returning will be a good way of practicing for a longer mission to Mars. Think of it this way, it takes 3 days to travel to the moon, and takes 7 months to travel to Mars. So the difference is a 6-day trip and a 14-month trip, plus you have to add the length of time the astronauts stay. So once we have said all the planning and preparation is complete and we are ready to make the journey, this is saying that we have experimented on how life on Mars may affect our species, and all of the habitats have been made, as well as a large enough space shuttle to make the journey to Mars, land, stay there for X amount of time, and then fly back, all without any resources other than what was already on the ship. If all of these plans are in place and we are good to go, the life on Mars that the first humans experience would be a very hard one, as starting a colony from scratch in an alien environment is an extremely difficult task, and it would take many generations for a flourishing self-sufficient colony to be created. For decades, the early inhabitants of Mars would need resupply from planet Earth. This is one of the questions which scientists are trying to answer now. Is life on Mars feasible? Can a colony survive on its own without the inhabitants of Earth getting involved? Until an answer is discovered to this question, it is likely that no one will be travelling to Mars, as we cannot predict how future generations will treat their Martian relatives. Would future Earth humans opt to stop sending supplies to their relatives? But let's, for argument's sake, say that the colony on Mars can be self-sufficient, and it is possible that a long-term human presence can arise on the planet. I would assume that eventually, over time, the inhabitants of Mars would begin to terraform the world, into hopefully, in the future, becoming more like Earth. If this were the case, it would be quite poetic, as it is believed that Mars was once very similar to planet Earth in the past. Maybe the desert planet will flourish once again. It's safe to say, if our species plans on surviving long term in this universe, then becoming a multi-planet civilization is a very good idea when it comes to the survival of the human species as a collective. Being a multi-planet civilization is a measure of somewhat protecting our species from cosmic incidents, or even man-made incidents. While there is definitely still a lot more to plan when it comes to creating a colony on a planet that is hostile for our species, I definitely hope that we can see this come to fruition over our lifetime, as seeing a potential new stage of humanity's growth would definitely be a wonderful thing to experience. So thank you all for watching. I'm going to just quickly have a brief talk about Mars colony. I've just done all the scripting talking, so I thought I'd just have a little bit after where I can have a little bit of a free talk with you about it. So yeah, like I say, within the next 20 years I can conceivably see us heading to Mars. Of course, that's just you know, Elon Musk and people like that being, you know, doing what they do, being good PR people and saying, you know, we're going to make it there in 10 years. I don't think it's likely we'll be there in 10 years. I don't think we can possibly go from not going to the moon for 50 years to heading to Mars within the next 10 years. I don't think that's like a feasible target to hit at by any means necessary. So I do believe that we'll be heading to the moon first, probably establishing a base on the moon if that's what they're planning to do. And obviously SpaceX and NASA have signed all of these deals where NASA has basically revived the space shuttle program because of a third-party company, which has never been done in regard to space travel. So this has opened up someone like Elon Musk, who has the plans to go to Mars, is opened up the possibility for it in the future. I can see it being a thing, as I say, in our lifetime. Just for somebody my age, 23, I can see us, you know, let's for argument's sake, I can see me being 53 and there's somewhat of a presence on Mars. We've been to Mars. I can see us of having been to Mars and I'm like 53 years old. I can see in 30 years that we've been to Mars. Maybe a colony isn't there in the sense of a colony, but there might be a few people, like, you know, 20, 30, 40 people there, you know, strictly doing science, X, Y, and Z, and slowly creating a colony, which will come to fruition over generations. Because when you span out past Earth and just past the human experience on Earth, you've got to start thinking more cosmically and more over, you know, generations, like beginning projects and continuing them on. That's kind of what creating a colony on Mars is. It's kind of a long-term humanity project, right? Because you aren't going to see a full-blown colony arise on Mars in your lifetime. There is no way. I don't believe it unless technology goes completely insane the remainder of my lifetime. I doubt I'm going to see, you know, cities on Mars and things like that. You know, I might see, you know, a little village or something where it's like mostly scientists go there and, you know, do scientific stuff. I think that's all I'm gonna see. Like, I don't think I'm gonna be seeing, you know, like the local pizzeria down the road on Mars in my lifetime. Okay, so thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to stay up to the date with the latest content. I appreciate you all so very much. Have a wonderful, wonderful day and peace out, my friends.